Hey everyone, welcome back to the Movie Couple channel. I'm Wendy and here is my review for BTS, The Return. BTS The Return follows the global pop sensation as they come back together to begin a reunion set to be etched in pop culture history, while reflecting on the journey that transformed 7 Korean members into global icons. Now this comeback for BTS, I would say definitely if you're ARMY, but even if you are not ARMY but you are a K-pop fan, you know how important and how highly anticipated this comeback was. I love that Netflix gave so much content, especially the live concert that they had, their comeback, and to celebrate the release of their album Arirang, gave us the full live concert broadcast from Korea, and also the BTS The Return documentary, which chronicles sort of the creative process, the making of the album Arirang. So this is by director Bao Nguyen, and I love the way he captured sort of the pressure of the comeback, of the creating the album, and just the sense of these 7 members after completing their military enlistment, what it's like for them to come back together. And I really felt, I think one of my favorite things about this documentary is that it didn't have the traditional, let's sit a member down in a chair, put a couple of cameras in front of him, ask him the questions off camera, and then he'll be, shot up against like some backdrop or whatever, like stationary stuff like that. This documentary didn't have that. And those are fine, but I love that it created a sense, the way it was shot, created a sense of giving us, the audience, making us feel like we're a fly on the wall. And I noticed that especially when they're in the house in LA. So it takes place obviously after the members finished their military service, but the documentary really starts when the 7 members are together in the house. So this is when Jin finishes tour and comes to LA, and that's where the documentary really feels like, okay, we're starting. And I love seeing the 7 of them back together again, and they're in the house, and by the fly on the wall thing, it's just that you could tell that the members were comfortable. It's like they're unaware of the cameras. The way they're sitting and speaking was so casual and relaxed. And that's what I want to see. I want to see them being them without being on like that stage, without having to be on, if you will. It's just nice to see them in that environment where they can feel at ease to like have a drink after dinner, or to be eating and just having a casual conversation. And of course, we got to see their creative process, the making of this album, Arirang, and the pressure that they all felt wanting to take care of their music, their basically like their first comeback after the military. It's pretty important. It was so many eyes are on this, so you could really see that the members felt the pressure of it. So I love that the documentary really captured like the more relaxed, casual setting, but also them in their work environment, and how when that's switched on, how each member, what their process is, and if they have a little bit of creative difference. For example, this was the one thing I think that was like discussed a lot in the documentary, was to have the folk song, Arirang, the traditional Korean folk song, a part of Body to Body. Some members, they all voiced their opinions. Some liked it, some didn't like it. Some liked the shorter sample, some like the longer sample. For me, I was like Hobie when he, was shown in the document. He was like, when it kicked in, he was jamming, and I was like, that was me the first time I heard Body to Body. I was like, this is a great way to incorporate this traditional Korean folk song that is also the title of the album into the very first song that you hear in the album. Sets the tone. I loved it. But I love seeing that they don't right away agree, but the common goal is to what's going to make this a great sounding song. What is the message? What is the vibe? And that's what all the members were striving for. So I loved seeing all of that. I loved also seeing them individually, what they do outside of the creative process. And I think one of the things that really resonated with me was with RM when he sat down with the lyricists, because they do have a lot of the songs, most of the songs are in English, and there was a little bit of like struggle with, because he's not a native speaker, even though he is quite good at English, he felt the frustration of like, what am I writing is right. And I just love seeing the members being able to speak and say, hey, am I doing this okay? Is this fine? And how they also question themselves. We all have doubt, but it's nice to see like the personal side of that. So I thought this documentary did that so well. I will say, as much as I love seeing the members being together and also what they do in their like individual schedules while they were in LA, a couple of the scenes I liked seeing still, but I felt like it didn't really push forward the story of the creation of their album Arirang. Specifically, I think it was with a couple of members, like I think it was V, who went out to dinner with his friends. And I love, again, seeing the personal side of the members and them allowing us like to share with us those personal moments. So I like seeing like him with his friends being casual, catching up. I wish, and you can't really direct a private personal conversation. You know, sometimes you don't want to intrude and say, can you say this and that? And I don't want to see that if it was going to be that way anyways. I just had wished that they had shown him talking about the creating of the album, whether he was happy with it or like what songs that really excited him, and maybe they wanted to avoid spoilers. I don't know. I just wish that in that conversation it revolved a little bit more around the album, whether it was V talking about it or his friends asking about it. I just would like to see that, because I felt like that sort of stopped the otherwise really great flow of the story and the focus of the documentary. But I loved the documentary. I love seeing them in this next chapter of their career, of their music journey. And I think it's really cool when artists, you know, lets cameras in to film a really intimate process that is music creation, and them being in the studio, and especially seeing them react to being pitched the concept of Arirang. When she came out with her presentation board and she opened it and she was kind of going back to the history of all of it, and I was like, wow, I was blown away. I think that was also one of my favorite parts in the documentary. I love that it followed them from LA back to Korea as they start to prep to, you know, do more for the album. So not just like recording it, because we do see that, but like the photos, the photo shoots. I kind of wish there was a little bit more rehearsal also, but I understand that. I think even the documentary crew had a pretty tight timeline, because it was all meant to be released around the comeback and around the release of the album. So maybe they didn't have time to capture all of that. But overall, I liked it so much. I probably will be watching it a few times again before, the concert, they come to LA in September. I definitely will be revisiting this. If you are curious about who BTS are, why this is such a highly anticipated comeback, if you're ARMY, you probably have already watched this, but if you're curious, whether you're baby ARMY, K-pop fan, casual fan, watch this documentary to learn more about the group, about who they are as individuals and their creative process. And there you have it. That is my thoughts on the documentary. Thank you so much for watching. Comment your thoughts, what you thought about the documentary, about the album, everything in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next video.